Hey lovely sexy hobby people, welcome to today's video, which is flick through for Airfix Model World issue 158. It's January 2024. It's got some interesting stuff in it this month. So let's crack on. Right, first thing I'm going to point out is that we've got this new kit from Airfix, the ME410, which was kind of a successor to the ME110. And it kind of went into a ground attack role as well as potential night fighter and stuff like that. It's an interesting development story for this. Let's have a look. Right, so 14 is Tamiya's superlative 148 scale F-35 Lightning II. 40 Unto the Breach, and that is Ryefield's 135th scale M1 assault breacher vehicle. 59 scale Model World special show report. 94 Desert Wind Italeri, delighted many with its new tool 172 scale AMX Ghibli, and Chris Clifford found it enjoyable and most satisfying to build. We've also got a figure build and paint Cyberpunk, and a P-43 Lancer from Dora Wings. So let's get into it. Right, Tamiya's small scale F-35A, so they're releasing a 172 scale now to go alongside their 148 scale Lightning A. Festive delights from Airfix, having sponsored the magnificent Spitfire Island sculpture, one of 3 brand new installations at this year's Blackpool Illuminations. Airfix has recently produced 4,000 limited edition 172 scale Spitfire kits based on this spectacular tribute to the type. These exclusive products are available solely through the Blackpool Illuminations web shop at illuminations-shop.com and the Promenade based Tourist Information Centre at £19.99 plus postage. Okay, so if you want a special edition Spit, that's a way to go. Alley-Cat Spitfire PR11 conversion, so photo reconnaissance PR. Thanks to Aftermarket Wizard Alley-Cat models, you can transform Edwards 148 scale Spitfire Mark 8 into a photo reconnaissance 11 reconnaissance airframe. Photo reconnaissance is a fascinating subject with much variety possible in potential kit builds. The fact is not lost on Alley-Cat models, which has just released the useful 148 scale resin conversion for the RAF Spitfire. RAF Spitfire PR11 based on Edwards Mark 8 tooling. So ICM's 148 scale new tool, Key 21IB Sally, having released its 172 scale, Ukraine's ICM has now issued a 148 scale version with a full bomb bay. Nice. Military Models Robin Olds bust. The figure specialists 1 night scale replica of legendary American fighter pilot Robin Olds is a startling likeness. This resin bust from Mitch's Military Models captures the features of Olds perfectly. The strong jaw, trademark rule-breaking moustache and steely gaze are key elements. So there you go. Right, so Pop the show guide in, photographs to be inserted around about now. And then we're on to the intermediate build for this Tamiya's new tool 135 F-35 proves a stealth fighter can be easy to build yet packed with interesting features, as Mike Williams discovered. So it says 135 scale there, but it's stating 148 scale in the article and on the model spec box. But it's a Lockheed Martin F-35A Lightning II from Tamiya, 148 scale, and it's £89.99 from hobbyco.net. So that's quite expensive. I mean, it's Tamiya, so it's going to be good quality. But looking at this looks really good. Looking at the cockpit tub there. Nose gear bay. Super detailed, just looking at it. So you've got your weapon bays. For the larger munitions here. And the reason that you have the weapon bays on this fighter is to help the radar cross section. Masking, talking about masking up to paint the exhaust tips. And just looking at these weapons bays, they look super detailed, really nice. I mean, once you've weathered those and put a pin wash in, they are really going to stand out. A thin panel line wash accentuated the detail. Here the top section has been treated, showing how the features pop compared to the unwashed half. Yeah? Super nice. I'm not a big fan of the clean airframe though. I think a little bit of weathering would have been nice. It's a nice grey colour scheme though. While the kit seat right, so this one here, would be more than adequate with a set of seatbelts, Minicraft Collection's 3D printed replacement is far superior. Yeah, it's a nice looking aircraft. It's a nice looking model. I think it looks too clean for me though. I would have liked to see a little bit of weathering on that. Cyberpunk Evolution, so figure build, and I think this is just talking about how the skin was done, but also on the Mini the artist has done some tattoos and how they did that. So yeah, so we're looking at the highlighting and basically under shading going on, and then obviously building up. It's really nice Mini. So this is Lil Squat Alternity Miniatures. It's in 1/10 scale. It's £52.99 from tyrolmodels.co.uk. I'm not that brilliant with skin. Some of my skin tones work, some of them don't. Right, record breakers out and about. This is St. Ives Model Show. So we've got a 148 scale Kestrel FGA, which started life as Tamiya's Harrier G1 before extensive modifications to the airframe, including rescribing of panel lines and new decals. So this I like. If there's one element of the hobby that always springs a surprise, it's imagination. This was a brilliant response to the Letchworth Scale Model Club's Iron and Steel theme, showing just how you get iron brew. Brilliant. Right, Magic by Moonlight. Ethan Williams recreates this frequent US airshow display aircraft in quarter scale via ICM's recent Beechcraft C18S boxing. And it's C18S, C18S, I suppose. Magic by Moonlight, ICM, 138 scale, £33.80 from hanamps.co.uk. And yeah, this also reminds me of, I mean, I don't know if it is the type, but it's very similar looking to the type of aircraft that Amelia Earhart was flying when she went missing. I'm going to have to look that up now. Right, let's have a look. What plane Amelia a Lockheed Model 10E Electra. Yes, it's quite similar in places. It's a twin-engined monoplane. With a twin tail boom. I mean, that is spookily like this aircraft. I mean, there are differences, obviously, but it's very, very similar. Okay, all right, let's stop that. Right. So yeah, this is a Beechcraft C18S. It looks nice. The colour scheme I think is a bit garish. But if it's a airshow display aircraft, then you know I can see why it's this colour. Looks like it was given matte finishes first and then glossed. Right, now this was an interesting article on a mine clearance vehicle. Ryefield Models 135 scale mine clearing M1 assault breacher. So, assault breacher vehicle M1 is in 135 scale from Ryefield Model. It's £69.95 and you can get it from tigerhobbies.co.uk. Now this has all sorts of shit going on. So it has these skids which I'm assuming would be lowered to skim over the ground and apply pressure to the top of a mine to detonate it. But then it also has the plows which would go in, and the plows are designed so that they move the mines to the side. As it's going along, the mines are lifted up and moved to the side. The other thing that you can see this thing has are these rocket-propelled mine clearance tape, I suppose you could call it. Here's a better picture of them. So the rocket would shoot forward and it would unspool this as it went along. It's then, there's a piece of det cord which is attached to the end of that, and the idea is that you shoot it over a minefield, and then once it's settled on the floor, you then detonate it, and the idea is that it blows up all the mines adjacent to it, giving you a clear lane through the minefield. But I like it. It's an unusual subject, and I think that's really nice. Talking about different tracks here, what they went for. They didn't use the box tracks, they went for Riffield Models RM509 track set as an alternative. So here's your LDCS containers. But this is a really interesting subject. It's not often you see combat engineering vehicles. So this would be a specialist combat engineering vehicle specifically designed for mine clearance, minefield clearance. Specifically designed for combat mine clearance, obviously because it's armoured. These are the sort of things that you would use if you wanted to breach a minefield in the first stages of an assault, to clear lanes for your armour to use and your follow-up troops. So you would then you would have more than one, but they would obviously clear the minefield, clear the lanes. Once through the minefield, they then just pull to the side, allowing the armour following up behind it to come through, and obviously move on. So I like it. Right, Big Gun Destroyer. So this is Airfix's new 172 scale Messerschmitt Me410 with optional armament. Now this was really interesting as a fighter aircraft in World War II. So it's from Airfix, Messerschmitt Me410A-1 or /U2/U4. It's £23.99 from airfix.com in 172 scale. And the interesting thing about this particular aircraft was it had a bomb bay in the nose, but also it had two side fuselage mounted remote turrets for self-defense, and it could mount different weapons platforms. Like it could mount a large cannon, I think up to a 50mm cannon, which I think is this here. That's either a 50mm or a 20mm. I can't recall. In the nose for ground attack and taking out aircraft. But it looks like a nice kit. I'm looking at this. Undercarriage bays. Pay careful attention when attaching the rear seat, otherwise it will foul the cockpit decking. Okay. Here we go. The BK5 cannon was painted separately before being attached to the fairing. Zastora, what was the BK5 cannon? I can't see it mentioned what its size was. It looks like it's going to be a 50mm cannon. Yeah, 5cm board cannon BK, also in the nose bay, so 50mm cannon, which when you're shooting top armor on an armored vehicle is more than enough. You know, if it's got solid slugs in it, that's gonna penetrate things like the engine deck, etc. No problem. And you know, a mobility kill is just as good as a K kill. So yeah, and then on to painting and masking. Nice. That is a really nice aircraft, and it's a really nice kit. And again, I haven't seen much of these. You know, I've seen plenty of BF 110s. So this was the Zestora line of heavy fighters that Germany wanted to introduce. And the Allies did it as well. You look at something like the P-38 Lightning with its twin tail boom and twin engines. That was considered a heavy fighter. We had the bow fighter as well. The problem was that they weren't agile enough when they came up against smaller single-engined fighters. But they did excel in things like ground attack and night fighter. So like the BF 110, you know, proved its worth many times as a ground attack aircraft, so long as it was supported by single engine fighters. And it was very much a similar proposition with this. But also they came into their own because they were larger airframes. It was easier to fit night fighting radar equipment into them to help them take out bombers on night missions. So yeah, it's nice. Right, Scale Model World, special show report. This is interesting. What is this? A Junkers D1 F-35 stealth night fighter bomber by Ian Tranter. That's got to be a what if, hasn't it? 60 knot out. So they're showing off the ME410 there. There's lots of stuff. Oh, Freight's Dog Models had a test shot of its new 148 scale Westland Wasp helicopter kit on the stand, which is due for release in the near future. So that'll be nice. I think Airfix previously produced a 172 scale Westland Scout version. The Wasp being the naval version. So the Scout had skids for the Army and the Wasp had wheels for the Navy. So IPMS Brampton's Victoria Cross theme included this beautifully weathered Main 135 scale Whippet built by Rob Beale, whose muddy groundwork was particularly convincing. The Mulberry Harbour SIG's Richard Allen displayed this eye-popping 1350th scene, which was packed with detail and featured realistic water. That is really nice. So I'm assuming that's going to be a Liberty ship, a Liberty cargo ship, moored up there and unloading. Yeah, there's some really nice minis here. Yana Rezakova was awarded gold in the under 11s category for this 135 scale Tyrannosaurus Rex diorama. Gold in class 69 was allotted to Adam Challenger for this superb 3D printed Thunderhawk gunship. Oh, nice. I wonder where he got the STL files for that. Kong. So, Airfix Model World contributor Dave Oliver earned a finalist award with his amazing 3D printed fantasy gorilla. Look at that. That's so Kong. Skeleton warrior? The exact heritage of this skeleton kit isn't known, although it's possibly a Lindbergh product. But Hinckley's Darrell Gamble modified it into one of Dragon's Teeth warriors from the film Jason and the Argonauts. That's cool. Oh, Baby Yoda. Or Grogu, I should say. Saab Viggen. That's the Saab Viggen I can remember building as a kid. It's one of my early kits. And again, another subject you don't see much of, which is the FV432 Armoured Personnel Carrier, British Army. So this is Tacom's 135 scale. That's nice in the Berlin camo. Yeah, and that was your lot. So there you go. Republic's first. Right. Jose Perez builds the initial version of Republic's supercharged heavy hitters in the shape of Dora Wings 148 scale P-43 Lancer using just acrylic paint products. So early United States Air Force aircraft, this you can tell because of the star. Republic P-43 Lancer, Dora Wings 148 scale, it's $24.99, so that's reasonably priced. AlbionHobbies.com. It's nicely rendered. The solid olive drab upper colour scheme with the grey underside looks nice as well. Right, predecessor Pursuit. Established in 1931, the Seversky Aircraft Corporation became a significant aviation company in the US. It was founded by Georgian-born engineer and former fighter pilot Alexander Seversky and drew on the creative genius of another aviation specialist from Georgia in Tsarist Russia. So a nice little in focus article showing the Lancer in service and design. Modelling Academy out and about. This is Wings and Things 2023. Haha, nice Conan. Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, look at that. Rutland's Keith Shelby provided a dash of TV nostalgia with crooked dices, Fruit Loops to replicate the characters from the Banana Splits in their beach buggies. All together now, 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4. Okay. Absolutely madcap Saturday morning television programme. So, intermediate build. Editor-at-large Chris Clifford satisfies a long-held ambition by completing Itilery's 172 scale new tool AMX Ghibli. Is it Ghibli or Ghibli? So AMX Ghibli Itilery 172 scale, it's $29.99 from hobbyco.net. Again, this aircraft very much reminds me of the RAF Hawk. You know, it's that sort of aircraft. From that particular era, really, that's what it reminds me of. So I'm liking the way this has been weathered as well, with the all over low visibility grey colour scheme, and the way that they've panel lined it. It really stands out. It's nice. So we've got a mixed weapon load. Right, on the shelf, ship models from the Age of Sail, which is this one. P-47 Razorbacks and the 8th Air Force colours. Al Hussein, Iraqi Indigenous Conventional Arms Projects. Hawker, the Great British Business Jet and Production Histories. Wings of the Black Cross, number 14. And Aero L29 Delphin. We then have kit-wise, so these were books. Kit-wise, we have a Tempest Mark V Series 2 from Edward in 1/48 scale. Kitty Hawk Mark IV over the Mediterranean and Pacific, 1/72 scale from Special Hobby. Revel 1/48 scale Mirage 2000C. A Fairchild AU-23 Peacemaker Air America. So Dora Wings in 1/72 scale. Biplanes 1930s 40s ICM scale 1/72. Fans of aircraft with 2 sets of wings should welcome ICM's 3-kit boxing. So there's 3 kits in that particular kit. And that can't be right. Only 20 quid. 3 sets, 3-kit boxing offering Soviet, German and Japanese machines. From hanants.co.uk, 20 quid. That's got to be a bargain, surely. Right, T2 Buckeye Anniversary Markings. That's an ugly looking aircraft. Special Hobby 1/48 scale. We have an English Electric Lightning from Airfix in 1/72 scale. A Bucker BU 181 Bestman. And that's in, that's Kovazavadi Prostjevo. Okay, yeah, I've butchered that, I do apologise. 1/72 scale. And then a Transall C160 Retro Brummel Hella 1/72 scale. That would be an interesting kit. I'd be interested in doing that. Onto armour. Colossal Wagen early version 1/72 scale from Arsenal Model Group. So that's nice. That looks like a World War I. Right. Also known as the K-Wagen, this design was a proposed 120-ton super tank that was developed during 1917 but which never entered service. That's going to be a big beastie at 120 tons. Right. 1/35 scale Type 320 Cabriolet from ICM. We have a Stug 3 off G from Mini Art 1/35 scale. Hella a Leclerc T5T6 in 1/35 scale. A Laffy F Type V15 from ICM in 1/35 scale. Oh, and Revel are releasing this old Matchbox kit, I should say, of the Krupp Proteus or Protzy KFZ 69 with 3.7 centimeter pack cannon. So that would be, I'm gonna suggest probably early war years with the 3.7. But for those of us that are old enough to remember, this was originally a Matchbox kit. It's nice to see it being sent out or put back on the market. Right, so cars, here we go. We have a Gordon Murray Automotive T50 Tamiya 1/24 scale. Tempo E400 Hochlader Pritz Mini Art 1/35 scale. a Volvo S40 BTCC 1997 Brands Hatch winner, Hobby Nunu, Hobby Nunu, scale 124 scale. We have a Hyundai i20 Coupe WRC Monte Carlo 2020. That's from Bell Kits and it's 124 scale. And then Technic Volkswagen T2 Build a Classic Revel 124 scale. And then we've got some aftermarket bits. Well, these are figures actually, not aftermarket bits. There's a few. So quietly came, quietly went. So these are Ukraine. Always the first Ukrainian air assault troops. Again, so ICM 135 scale, ICM 135 scale. And Ukrainian military medics. These are by Masterbox in 135 scale. So yeah, some interesting kits there. German soldiers with fuel drums. That'd be interesting for a diorama build. And then we've got Panzer Crew France from Mini Art 135 scale. Car Ferry Avenir. So this is a 1/200 scale by Hella. It's €80 from hella.fr. Yeah, it's a kit of a car ferry. So an alternative, interesting civilian build. So decals, Korean War 1950 to 53 Part 2, United States Marine Corps tanks M26 Pershing, star decals 172 scale. F-35A Adir 2021 Israel decal 172 scale, so that's these here. RAF Op Granby Part 1 air graphic models 172 scale. So these, I'm assuming, are going to be for a number of different aircraft. Designed as an anniversary set to commemorate 30 years since Operation Granby, this busy pack of 3 decal sheets supplies markings for 40 RAF aircraft involved in that conflict, covering Buccaneers, Jaguars and Tornadoes. Excellent. So yeah, 172 scale, that's really going to give you options there. P-38s in Europe, Eagle Cals, 172 scale, and then Spitfire Mark 5C Tropical, Zero decals 172 scale. Okay, on the shelf, Field Workshop, Mini Art 148 scale. So for those that like your 148 scale armour, that's going to be a handy accessory kit. Tent packs and bedroll set, Royal Model 172. Beautifully cast resin set will be a boon for builders of 172 scale tanks and soft skins. Nice. B-17G Ask Distribution 132 scale. So this is a mask. The glazing on a B-17 can be a challenge at the best of times due to its extensive framing, and the bigger the scale, the easier it is for a mistake to be made. So MG3 early version 135 scale from Gas Patch Models. Air to Ground Weaponry Set A, United States Aircraft Bomb Weapon Set. This is 148 scale from AFV Club. There's a lot in it. That's cool. The stores are as follows. Mark 82 £500 bomb, Mark 82 £500 snake eye bomb, Mark 15 retard tail, Mark 82 £500 bomb with BSU 85 B air inflatable retard tail ball chute. Balut. Mark 84 £2,000 bomb, a Mark 117 £750 bomb, Mark 117 £750 bomb with MAU 103 straight tail, an LAU-3A rocket launcher, and CBU cluster bomb unit 100 Mark 20 Rockeye cluster bomb unit. So that'll be that. Yeah, there's a lot in there. So for those looking to convert 1/48 scale kits, that's a good set. Right, and then I think we're into our final bits and pieces of advertising before we get into readers' models. Oh, the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard. Nice, right, there you go. I hope you liked that flick through, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. All right, take care, bye-bye.